Gardens team, providing you with some video feedback so that we can maximize this opportunity for you to revise and improve your final campaign book for this class. So here's your title page. For some reason it cracks me up to call it the Nehrling Gardens, but it's not really the, is it? Nehrling Gardens, let's say we could call it a public relations campaign, right? That's fine. I wish you had a slogan or a motto, and it could be called the Everything Sterling at Nehrling campaign book or something like that, but I'm afraid that might be calling for too much creativity in too short a period of time. Anyway, now we have the table of contents. All of these begin on new pages. Good. I did change some of the formatting here, as you can see. I've given you a general guide here for the executive summary. And so we can go like this, get rid of that. And here's a general guide. One sentence for these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different items that you need to address in this executive summary, which is a 1-paragraph summary of the entire paper. So now we come to the situation analysis, which begins on a new page. I've made some edits and inserted some comments throughout the text here. How many is a couple? Who is there? Been a little bit more specific. Who is there, right? Let's look at the number of times this paper uses first person, just out of curiosity. So let's see how many times. We is used 9 times, and our is used 17 times. So we've got 25 occurrences of first person. Many of these need to go away. Instead of saying our, you can say the clients, right? And there's one of them that's gone. But you need to think about cutting the number of first person narration instances in half. It's just too much like a personal journey when it's all in first person. This Lou Gardens is not spelled right. Market research begins on a new page. And I've made some edits and inserted some comments here. So this client competitors messages and themes, you know, you need to develop this content more. 1 sentence is not a paragraph. You need a 3-sentence minimum here. You can use transition sentences. Again, here, who is they? Here's a good example of a sentence with an unspecified pronoun. It's actually an incomplete sentence because there is no subject. They have the opportunity to become more open to the public and become more successful with their mission statement. Who is they or there? This sentence doesn't express a complete thought because the subject is a pronoun, they or their. It's not Nehrling Gardens. Right, now we have a subject. It's Nehrling Gardens has the opportunity, and you know what? Nehrling Gardens isn't a there, right? It's an it's. It's an it. It's not a there, right? And then we come down here. We need more content here. This needs to be better developed, more specific information. All of the gardens, so you can say on their website, comma, Lou Gardens emphasizes these messages and themes, period. On their website, Mead Gardens emphasizes these messages and themes, period. On their social media sites, specifically on Facebook, Lou and Mead Gardens emphasize these themes. This is not rocket science, right? Don't make it harder than it is. It's real easy to do, and I think you certainly have the ability to do it. Publics and stakeholders, I made a couple of, instead of our campaigns, this campaign's buyer persona. See, we can just write more professionally using less of that first-person narration, that personal journey that gets you in trouble, right? Here we have another they issue, another our. Mead and Lou Gardens are nonprofit organizations, right? Let's just make sure about that. I know for a fact Lou Gardens is. Mead Gardens, nonprofit. Well, let's see if they are. I'm pretty sure they are nonprofit. I'm almost positive. Like, why would they be for profit, right? So I don't know why you claim that the others are nonprofit here. Well, be careful with that. Be more specific. There are thousands of social media and internet channels. Just saying. Um, Best channel would be social media and the internet. That's like, you need to be more specific, right? So that's like saying the best channel would be through television. Well, how many channels are there on a television, right? Well, how many channels are there through social media and the internet? Campaign plan, all of these, the situation analysis, the market research, and the campaign plan should all begin on new pages. Sometimes when I'm adding comments, it changes the formatting a little, so that might have done it, but I just want you to be aware of that. I've reworded some of your content here so that it is both information, your goals are both informational and motivational, since they are, one, to increase awareness of the gardens, and two, to increase donations in order to match a state grant. So we can get rid of that. And I've added here, you also need an objective. Well, your door hangers are also increasing awareness, right? So the final objective is to distribute how many door hangers where. Okay, you need to add that in as an objective because it is part of your campaign, right? Yeah. So here it should, you need to tell me how many are you going to print and distribute? How many does the campaign propose that Nehrling Gardens prints and distributes, right? This door hanger needs to be included in your strategies. It's not here. Add one sentence talking about the door-to-door campaign using door hangers and strategies. And so talk about the messages and design. Talk about the content, messages. So the content would be images and text. The messages, what would the text or images be designed to communicate? And design of the door hangers and strategies as well. Then provide more details about the number of door hangers, the door-to-door distribution locations. Where will they be distributed? On what doors will these hangers be placed? And the time frame during which that door-to-door campaign will be executed. That content goes into your tactics down here, right? Okay? Because this statement is just absolutely meaningless. In the tactics, you have to tell us on what day and what time for each week over the course of the campaign will specific activities be executed. So you can include in here your door hanger thing, but then you need to say on Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 o'clock of each week over the course of the campaign, visually engaging and shareable posts will be published on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, that would be much more meaningful. It's not our campaign, it's this campaign. Will begin on March 31 and go through August 31st. So when we read these out loud, we say May 31st, but when we write them in formal writing, we would never use the ST here or here, right? We don't, in formal writing, we don't use those superscript STs, right? We don't do that because it's not appropriate. So make sure you don't do that here. And I've got more comments. I don't know why why will it take place in Winter Park? I thought you were targeting, in all of your other information targets, Windermere and Winter Garden and Apopka. So this Winter Park suddenly makes no sense, right? They cannot use Warallon's Qualtrics, right? Because they're not part of Warallon's. through, it will cost money. So I would say this would cost $150, okay? This survey is going to cost $150. Equals $150 that needs to be in the budget, okay? And you need to provide a total amount of dollars and man hours required to execute. Your quantitative objectives are your KPIs. You have to go back to your objectives and explain how you will use these objectives. Did you achieve $50,000 in donations? So how long is the campaign going to run? If it runs 5 months, you need to make sure you're getting $10,000 each of the 5 months. Where is the numbers for increasing Instagram and Twitter? So we need objectives here that you can use as key performance indicators. How many door hangers? And then you can say, well, these door hangers, of the 2,000 door hangers that were printed and purchased, 1,800 were actually hung on doors in the targeted neighborhoods. So if we hung 1,800 divided by 2,000, that means we achieved 90% of our objective, right? And that's how we could measure that here. How will you use your objectives to measure the success of the campaign? How can your objectives, those quantitative figures, increase Facebook followers by 20%, increase Instagram post likes by 20%? Those are your KPIs. Those are your objectives. And in this section, you explain how you'll use those objectives to measure your KPIs. You want to make sure in your bibliography, use the website and social media accounts for Nehrling Gardens, Mead and Lou Gardens, and then any Google or Yelp or any other kind of review websites you use, be sure you cite them here in the bibliography. Overall, guys, good job getting started. Now just push through and get a good grade in the class, because I think you deserve it. Let me know if